We're going to watch America's Sweetheart, Julia Roberts in Erin Brockovich. Great legal movie.
That's where we try the case without a jury, just before a judge. It's called a test trial. And the judge's decision is final. There's no appeal.
So they're talking about arbitration, which some people refer to as alternative dispute resolution. And so arbitration is basically you go in front of a judge and you have a trial, except there's no jury and it's streamlined to make it happen usually quicker. So you're not waiting as long. And usually there's no right to an appeal. And so it's kind of a final thing. Relatively common in the legal world, not so much here in Colorado. Things here typically are going to go into a courtroom, but arbitration is a way of getting things done a little bit faster. Let's see what they do here in this meeting.
How many plaintiffs do you have?
634.
Well, they'll never try that many all at once. So, we need to get them together in groups of 20 or 30. Worst cases, the most life-threatened, the sickest in the first group, and so on and so on. And each one gets a go before the judge to determine damages. PG&E has proposed that they're liable anywhere between 50 and 400 million.
So, wait a minute. Let me just get this straight.
If we went to trial, PG&E could stretch this over 10 years with appeal after appeal. Those people in Hinckley would
These
still...
people are expecting a trial. That's what we told them, you and me. They won't understand this.
For those of you that have seen this know what this case is about, okay? It's about some contaminated water, a bunch of people getting sick. And in our world, we call that a mass tort, typically, that people often confuse with a class action. In a class action, everybody is making the exact same damage claim. Here's an example. Let's say your bank is ripping you off 50 cents every time you use your debit card. So someone files a class action and says, hey, I want to represent this entire class of people at my bank. They're all being ripped off the same 50 cents. Now, in a mass tort action, everyone is making the same liability claim, which is here, in this case, in Erin Brockovich, which is, hey, you polluted our water. But everybody has a different damage claim because there's different illnesses, different medical bills, different prognosis, different level of damages. So what ends up happening in these cases is they get consolidated, where there's individual cases in a big group where they fight over the liability kind of as one. Like, we're all making the same claim. You did something to our water, and then you fight over the damages for each individual case. But oftentimes you're able to try, well, at least try, to negotiate kind of a global settlement for everybody, and then you figure out who gets what. But here they're saying, hey, we don't want to do trials because we want to arbitrate so we can avoid appeals, because these big companies that you typically are going after in a mass tort, they can stretch things out even when you win. They can tie you up in appeals court for years. And so this is a way to streamline it. I don't think Erin Brockovich is going to like it.
Kurt thinks it's the best way to go.
Look, I promise you that...
Erin Brockovich is
we'll be
pissed.
sensitive on this point. We will make sure that they understand that this is the only way that we can go forward at this time. But we have a lot of work to do before we even broach that subject.
You know what? Why don't I take Erin down the hall so we can start on this stuff, and I'll fill her in on the rest of the details.
Those are my files.
Yeah, we had them couriered over. And listen, good work. They're a great start. We're just going to have to spend a little time filling in the holes in your research.
Excuse me, Teresa, is it?
Here comes the fight.
Holes in my research.
No offense. There's just some things we need that you probably didn't know to ask.
Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, okay? I may not have a law degree, but I've spent 18 months on this case, and I know more about these plaintiffs than you ever will.
Erin, you don't even have phone numbers for some of them.
Whose number do you need?
Those of you that have seen this, I'm sure you love this part like I do, right? Because she does have all these phone numbers memorized. And it brings up a good point in mass torts. So in mass torts, you have these law firms that can be working for hundreds or thousands of clients. And you know what can happen? The clients are actually the ones that can kind of slip through the cracks. The lawyers are busy. They're fighting the battle against the company on liability. And who is there to make sure the clients are taken care of? Who is there to make sure that things are being explained, that there's communication, and that things are responsive? Well, candidly, with some of these big firms, that can fall through the wayside. And we do some of this work here at Ramos Law where we help mass tort people. We keep in touch with them. We make sure they understand what's going on. That's what Erin Brockovich is all about. She's about making sure the people are being taken care of and not just getting lost in the shuffle. So I think that's really important for any attorney working for a client to make sure they know what the heck is going on with their case and You respond to communications because communication is a form of respect, right? And if you call your lawyer and you're waiting a week to hear back, you're going to be pissed off. That's not happening here at Ramos Law. That's Dr. Ramos's general order number 1. Make sure you take good care of people, just like Erin Brockovich.
This is a lawsuit. We need to be able to contact the plaintiffs.
I said, whose number do you need?
I love this.
You don't know 600 plaintiffs' numbers by heart.
Like, yeah, go ahead, try me. She's like, all right, I'll bite. That's an awful outfit she's wearing.
Annabelle Daniels.
Annabelle Daniels, 714-454-9346.
That's it.
10 years old, 11 in May. Lived on the plume since birth. Wanted to be a synchronized swimmer, so she spent every minute she could in the PG&E pool. She had a tumor in her brainstem detected last November. An operation on Thanksgiving shrunk it with radiation after that. Her parents are Ted and Rita. Ted's got Crohn's disease. Rita has chronic headaches and nausea and underwent a hysterectomy last fall. Ted grew up in Hinckley. His brother Robbie and his wife May and their 5 children, Robbie Jr., Martha, Ed, Rose, and Peter, also lived on the plume. Their number is 454-9554. You want their diseases?
That's incredible. Believe it or not, there are people in this firm that can do what she just did. They have encyclopedic knowledge of what's going on for all of their clients, and it's all stored up here and they can access it. I'm not one of those people. I do try to take great care of my clients, but I've got to look up their phone numbers. So that's just really impressive for folks that can do that. I love the look on his face. He's like, you want to ask her another question?
Okay, look, I think we got off on the wrong foot here.
That's all you got, lady. 2 wrong feet and ugly shoes.
Oh, you know when girls start attacking each other's shoes that it's just going to go bad. So
She insulted me.
It was a misunderstanding. But instead of handling it politely and instead of treating her with respect
Why
and
the fuck
salt.
should I respect her?
Look, just because she's not supporting 3 kids with no husband and no education doesn't make her an idiot. Just because she dresses like a lawyer doesn't mean she didn't work her ass off in law school and positions to earn her way.
Oh, well, excuse me for not going to law school.
Law school? At this point, I'd settle for charm school.
you know, I'm not sure I agree with him there in full, right? Because that lady was rude to her. She was kind of condescending, and then, you know, Julia gave it back. And so, you know, sometimes you gotta do that. You gotta stand up for yourself. So I'm not so sure I agree with him. I do agree, you gotta be professional, but I'm not so sure the other lady was being professional. And when that happens, you know, and the gloves come off, you do what you gotta do. So thanks for watching this with me. Those of you that have seen some of my other videos know I love movies. I love movies. I love reviewing movies. I love movie lines, movie quotes, all that kind of stuff. We'd love for you to subscribe. So please click all the buttons that'll let you do that. And let us know, what movies do you like? It doesn't have to be a legal movie. I really don't care. I love all kinds of stuff. So love to do more for you. Appreciate you watching. Take care.